Hi everyone. So today we're going to be learning about the fallacy called faulty appeal to popularity. And you probably don't know me, but I'm Catherine. So to start off, you're probably wondering, what on earth is this? You might not have read the textbook or done any of the readings, which, believe me, I understand. So I'm hoping today I can get a chance to try and teach you a little bit about it. Starting off, I'm going to give you a bit of a definition from the textbook. It's pretty clear, and then I'm going to give you another definition. Hopefully it'll make it a little bit more clear. So the textbook calls faulty appeal to popularity an argument that attempts to establish some conclusion on the basis of its popular appeal. So that's a little bit of a mouthful. I kind of condensed it and made it into something a little easier to understand. So I called it an argument or statement that tries to make itself true just because many people agree or believe in it. So they can think it's true, they can think it's correct, they can think it's credible, many different things. But when many people think it's true, that's what makes it a faulty appeal to popularity. And then you believe it's true too. It kind of becomes a little bit of common knowledge. So before we really delve deep into this, I want to start with a little bit of a brain break. So after I show you the question, I just want you to take maybe 10 seconds, 10, 15 seconds, and think about it. And you can pause it, and then you can come back to it. And I'll discuss some of the examples after. So the first question is, what are 3 appeals to popularity that you have heard multiple times? So these can be anything that you've heard on a daily basis. Maybe you heard them once in a while, or maybe you've read it, you haven't heard it at all. So I'll give you a chance to pause now, and I'll start again in about 5 seconds. All right, so some of the things you may have thought of are, well, maybe not about Game of Thrones, but about TV shows in general. You may have thought of something along the lines of, everyone will be talking about the special Game of Thrones episode tonight. So, by using the word everyone will be talking about and special, it makes it seem like you should be watching it too. As well, you've probably seen lots of ads and signs and just people talking about Canada's best-selling coffee or Canada's best-selling car. In this scenario, I'm going to use coffee. So that is also an appeal to popularity because Canada's best-selling coffee means everybody's buying it and you should buy it too. But just as a little bit of a fun fact, it's actually not Tim Hortons as you see there. McDonald's is now Canada's best-selling coffee. That's just a little tidbit of information you might want to know. All right, moving on. We're going to learn about why it is problematic. So why is a faulty appeal to popularity problematic? Like, what's so wrong with it? Like, who cares if everybody thinks it, so we think it too? Well, to start off, the argument that X, so X can be anything, like the examples that we just talked about, is popular between a group solidifies a hidden conclusion. So I kind of touched on this already. So by saying that everyone will be talking about the special Game of Thrones episode tonight, we are basically saying we should go and watch that special Game of Thrones episode. Or Canada's best-selling coffee for X number of years, if it's McDonald's, which it is, then we are saying, okay, you should buy it. So many people are buying it, we should buy it too. So that's the part about solidifying a hidden conclusion. So they're solidifying the fact that we should go and buy McDonald's coffee. So again, moving on, this is also problematic because popularity in the real world, essentially, does not equal acceptability or making it true or correct. So just because everybody does something does not mean that's the right thing to do. So if you surrounded yourself with a bunch of people who all, for example, I'm going to take this to the extremes, jumped off the CN Tower, that doesn't mean just because it's popular and everyone's doing it, does not mean it's acceptable or the right thing to do. So that's not a very good judge. So a faulty appeal to popularity is not a good judge of what is acceptable or true. In fact, it is quite the opposite. So moving on, the textbook had a lot of good explanations about faulty appeal to popularity. If you find this is not enough, and I'm going to keep going, Feel free to go and look at it. It's mostly on page 310 and page 311. However, the glossary has some good definitions as well. I think that's on page 450. Moving on. So, popularity is influenced by prejudice, superstition, outdated theories, and ill-considered judgments as well. This is also another reason why it is a very terrible fallacy, essentially. So if you can see the picture in the bottom left-hand corner, it's a picture of the flat earth there are some people who believe that the earth is flat. I don't think there are too many of them right now who believe it, but I know that there used to be a lot of people who used to believe in this. And just because people believe in it still, it is a bit of an outdated theory. It might still be popular in some places, but it is outdated, and therefore it is not true. Just because it's popular does not mean it's true. This was an example from the textbook, in case you were wondering. Moving on. So, we often accept appeals to popularity by buying something because it's popular. So, this fallacy is essentially one of the things that drives our decisions, our large decisions. So a good example, probably you might be able to relate to this as well. So Honda Civics are the most popular car in Canada. This is actually a true fact. You can research it. They've been one of the best-selling cars in Canada for the last 20 years. And then, so if you were to say Honda Civics are the most popular car, well, then, therefore, I will buy a Honda Civic. And clearly, I followed these instructions. I am guilty of this as well, just because a lot of people bought it. I have one too, because I thought they were reliable, which they are. It's a little off topic. Let's continue. So, the textbook did have a lot of information about this fallacy, but I did find some good information on another website called Logically Fallacious. You can Google it. It has a big long list of different ideas about this fallacy. So what they were reiterating is the fact that this fallacy it can be difficult to identify, and the reason for this is because common sense would essentially tell you that popular means it is good or valid, which you can find some truth in that. Sometimes that's true. However, society nowadays, especially in westernized society and our society, buys popularity with marketing and politics. A great example of this is the fast food industry. So lots of people will go and buy the newest, for example, the newest Starbucks drink because they have marketed it so well. However, just because it's popular doesn't mean it's the best run for your money, or it's the best tasting drink. But because lots of people are buying it and tasting it, and you see ads about it, you're going to buy it too. Maybe not you in particular, but lots of people. So I understand that this might be a lot to take in, but it does actually relate to a lot of parts of our course that we have learned so far. I just want to take a moment to highlight a couple of them. I'm not going to I know that there are more. There are quite a few, but I'm only going to look at a couple. The first one is relating it to illegitimate bias. We learned about this a few weeks ago. It was actually a while ago. It's at the beginning of the textbook in the first chapter. So just to remind you, illegitimate bias is, I paraphrased it. I put it into my own words to help you understand better, is that there is illegitimate influence on why we support a claim. And this actually affects our ability to listen to other opinions. If you did your readings a long time ago, you would understand why. A lot of this is part of this definition is a bit of common sense. However, it is very relatable to appeal to popularity, because appeals to popularity are influenced by choices others make in buying or supporting something. Sorry. So, we are less inclined to buy what we originally wanted. There's an influence on why we did that, because we are influenced by the choices of other people. And because, I'm just going to go back for a second, illegitimate biases affect our ability to listen to others' opinions, so do appeals to popularity. we see what other people have and we want it as well. So, for example, an example that I just thought of is you see people with the newest shoes of a certain brand, whatever brand you want, and you are more inclined to buy it too, no matter what you thought about maybe another brand, another style, another color. When something becomes popular, you think it's the right choice to make. Moving on, appeals to popularity is similar to diagramming arguments. Not in the sense that they have the same general topic, it's just you can apply diagramming to appeals to popularity. So, for example, millions of Canadians watch hockey throughout the NHL season. This is true. This is a claim. You can say this is a claim. And a conclusion that you can draw from this. So if you look at my diagram, the main conclusion is at the bottom with the lowest green arrow, is I should watch hockey. It's a great sport to play and support. So what we're saying here is that because millions of Canadians are watching hockey, we should do it as well. And it might not be, I'm not saying that this is true, but in certain cases, maybe it might not be the best use of your time, or it might not be the correct thing to do. Maybe instead of watching it, you should be playing it, for various reasons. But I thought that visually showing it in how we learn to diagram arguments, I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago, really helps explain the steps that appeal to popularity and how the main conclusion kind of is formulated. Moving on, I have one last brain break exercise. For this one, it's not a long question, don't worry. But when you answer it, I want you to share your ideas as a reply to my post if you have a chance to. I'm curious to know what you're going to say. My question is, how have appeals to popularity influenced your purchasing choices? So I talked about people buy shoes, people buy cars, people buy the latest, like dishwasher, lawnmower, lots of different things. I'm just curious to know, how has it helped you? And have you noticed that, sorry, not how has it helped you, how has it influenced you? And have you noticed that this has been happening? So once again, please share your thoughts as a reply to my post. I'm very curious to know what you want to share, and if you need anything explained to you, feel free to just let me know. I'll be happy to reply as soon as I see it and have a chance to reply. Thank you very much.